Hopefully you can see that all that slack in that chain. It's pretty worn. It's got over 200,000 miles on it, so we're going to put a new chain in it while we're in here. Really easy to do. Hard part's getting to it, and since we're in here, and it's about a $30–$35 part for the whole set. Not very expensive. We're going to stick the crank bolt back in there temporarily. We're going to do the chain. We're going to line this up. So there's a hole in the camshaft sprocket. There's a mark on the crankshaft gear. You want the camshaft mark to be at 6 o'clock and the crankshaft mark to be at 12 o'clock so they line up. Then you can remove the chain. 32 millimeter. Okay. You can see how much play is in that. Time to mark 12 o'clock here. Time to mark here, 6 o'clock, lined up. That's what we want. Now we can take that off. 16 millimeter. I should be able to slide this off. Okay. I'm going to end up dropping the pan on this. I don't know if I'll show that to you or not. Got to pull the starter and a dust cover off the flex plate where the transmission mounts to the engine and drop the pan. Other than that, I think it's pretty simple. That's even simple. It's just a couple things you have to do. I'm going to clean this up now. Let's go in here and finish cleaning and get ready to put everything back together. So there's the new seal in there. Block of wood, hammer. Just take your time, be patient. It has a tendency to want to walk around and cock one way or the other on you. If you look in here, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. I'll try to show it to you. There's a lip that it sits on. You want to make sure it's up against that lip all the way around. So that's all I did. Took a little bit, but just a flat piece of board, 2x or whatever, and enough to cover it. Hit it down in there, keep checking it. Once it starts, then it's simple. It's just trying to get it started without it cocking. And then it's good to go. One of the things I mentioned earlier is this gasket, this oil pan gasket, and it got torn getting it out on the one side. So if it was still in good shape and it didn't get torn, I would have left it. But now that it's torn, I'm going to drop the pan on this, put a new gasket. I have the gasket just in case I had to do that. So I'm going to drop the pan on this. I've already drained the oil. I'll go underneath and I'll show you what needs to be done. Pretty easy. This is a two-wheel drive, but four-wheel drive is the same. You don't have to pick the engine up on those either. You have to undo a few brackets, take the starter out, dust cover for the flywheel, and that's about it. I'm on the driver's side looking up. That's where the starter was. You can see there's one stud there. That's a 16 millimeter nut, and above it is a bolt. Up there you can see bolt hole. Hopefully you can see that. I think you can. That is both 16 millimeter. They are tight. That top one, you got to really lean on it to get it out, but it will come out. These two brackets here, you see this metal bracket here, 13 millimeter bolt in the front, 16 that bolts into the transmission. Same thing on the other side. There's one of them on the other side, and then there's two 11 millimeter bolts that hold that dust cover on. You got to pull that out. Once that's out, then it's 13 millimeter bolts for the pan. You can drop the pan out of this. You have enough clearance that you can drop it right out of here, which is, I'm not going to really show too much of that. I'm just going to drop it out of there, clean it, put a new gasket in it, put it back on. 15 foot-pounds for the bolts. All right, let's go again. Almost did it again. Get this lined up and get it on there. It's tight, but it should be tight. There it goes. Push this back in. Get a little rubber mount. Just to line them up. Get a little out of alignment front to back, and then they don't want to move. Cam gear on all the way. Maybe it is on all the way. I should say crank gear, I meant. Alright. That crank is not on all the way. There we go. So, I'm looking at my marks. 12 o'clock on the crankshaft gear. 6 o'clock on the camshaft. That's correct. Put my camshaft bolt back in. $50 foot-pounds for this. Always start them by hand. Starting. Get my torque wrench here. Timing sets back in place. Alright, so now I'm get ready to put the cover back on here. It's all cleaned up. I'll go through and show you how I do that. When we put this back on, these two seams here from where the timing cover meets the oil pan, we're going to put a little sealer in there, a little RTV in there before we put it back on there. But now, let me show you what I do with the pan. I'm not doing real well with my tool management today. I'm struggling with it. A little disorganized with my tools, which I'm usually not, but today I'm not having a really good day. So I can get stuff out. There we go. I had a new tube, I wanted to do this, but I'm just going to put a thin coat. This is not going to be thick coat at all. Just a little extra protection here. Not a lot. Alright, got my gasket stuck on there. I'm going to being careful of this bottom seal. Before I do that, I don't want to forget, put a little bit of RTV on that seam, each side where it meets the engine block. Don't need a lot, but you got to get that. You got to put some on that seam. Both sides. I'm going to put a little Teflon sealer on these. I'm going to the water jacket. I don't want them leaking. Both of these I know did. I think some of the other ones did as well, but it doesn't hurt. So I'll put it on there just in case. Just real quick, check it. There you go. Just like that. Okay. Alright. Got seal on both sides of my water pump gasket. I'm just starting bolts in now. Just getting one to hold in place. I've replaced this upper hose here. It's real hard to get to. So with 200 and some thousand miles, I'm sure it's never been done looking at it. So I'm going to replace it while I can get to it. It's easy to get at. I haven't tightened them yet, just snugged up. Should have another one here, right there. I had this middle bolt, which is stuck on the other water pump. I'm going to have to figure out how to get that off. It's a different kind of head, but the washer's hanging it up. Can't get it past the pulley. So I'll have to figure that out, but we'll figure it out. I've got these all snugged up now. I'm just 30 foot-pounds. I'm just going to go like 15 first. 15. And just kind of work away around that, and then the cover as well. Kind of working from the middle out as much as I can. Same thing. Now, don't forget the 2 bolts in the front of the oil pan. They're facing up, 15 foot-pounds. Oh, that's enough. Should be enough to pull it in there. I was able to slide that on basically enough to get the bolt started. They make an installer kit. I got the bolt started, you know, probably 1/4 inch, 3/4. Make sure it's lined up right. You pull it right in, pull it right in, no problem. I've got a pipe wrench around this with a rag so it doesn't damage it against the suspension so it just won't turn, holding it in place. And I got to tighten to 130 foot-pounds. 130 foot-pounds, done. Now I can release my custom holder, as I like to call it. Just going to back it just a little bit. Turn it a little bit. Release it. It's fine. Doesn't damage it. Just be careful. Be smart about it. Everybody's good. Yeah, we're loving that. All right. I have just a couple things left to do. Thermostat, I'm having a problem with this back hole threaded. The bolts are fine. They both thread in fine, no problem. The front hole, back hole's messed up, so I got to get a tap. I got to find out what that is, that bolt. Tap it, chase it out, and clean the threads up in there. Make sure I don't want to have a problem with that. I'm just about done. Put the lower radiator hose back on there. Get my pliers. I gotta tell you, it's been a bad couple days for organization for me. I'm usually pretty good with my tools as far as when I have them out. Last 2 days, I'm a little off, man. It's been a mess. Tools everywhere. You want to be organized when you have them out and working, because if you're not, it just costs you time. Okay. Looks good. Lower hose is on. I've got this bypass hose. We can do that. Fitting and everything for that. I might want to put that on after the bracket. We'll see. Put it in place and see if it's in the way. It might be in the way. You know, you don't have to do these things, but yeah, be smart about it. Just be smart about it. I think this is but it's making tight. The wrong one? There's no way that's going in there. That's not right. No, of course it's not. I put it in the wrong side, wrong end, duh. Oh boy, this is the way my day has been going. Yeah, I know you can't see this. I expected you would be able to. Help to use the belt helps to hold it still. All the way open. I know it'll fit it because I took it off using it. That's just big enough. So now, what I'm going to do is try to hold this and pop it with a. Same way I took it off. The tool management has been horrible on this job. Tool organization. Usually pretty good, but man, today, the last couple of days on this job in particular has been bad. Really bad. Just bad. Let's not hit my light. I've got enough problems, I don't need more. I'm going to be standing here, try to hold this at the same time. Just pop it with the hammer. Let's get a way to get a hold of it. Just trying to increase the tension on it to hold it so it doesn't move. That's what I knew I was going to do that. I'm just one more time, it's pretty tight. Alright. Tight. Belt helps a lot, you gotta have the belt on there. I just put pressure on the belt to tighten it even more. So the water pump pull it on turn, hitting it with the hammer, tighten it up. Well, that's it. Fix this coolant leak, back of the timing cover. Ended up doing a timing chain in it. Had to replace the oil pan gasket because the gasket tore when it was taking the timing cover off. This job just beat me up. It's just about everything that could go wrong went wrong. Broke a bolt right off the bat. That's stuff that just gave me grief all the time, but that's the way it goes sometimes. I've been running it, filled it back up with oil, antifreeze. Run it for 15 or 20 minutes here, let it bleed the coolant out. No leaks, haven't seen anything. I'll run it some more and drive it, test it. It's running good. It needed a chain, so I put the time chain in it. You're in there. It's literally 10 minutes worth of work to do the chain once you're in there. So it has 208,000 miles on it. You know, if you need to do this, and I hope this video helps you out. If you like the video, subscribe below. Trying a new thing out, my new saying, and it applies to this video, is test, don't guess. So I didn't show it, but in the beginning I talked about using a pressure tester and hooking it to the radiator and pressure testing this system to find out where the leak was. Don't guess at what you're trying to fix. And when I did that, I could see it leaking out the timing cover, so I knew exactly what it was. If you guess, you're going to get burned. You might not get burned every time, but you're going to get burned sooner or later. Don't just throw parts at it. I hope it helps you out. Thanks for watching.